All right, hello, my loves, and welcome back to the Aligned Dating Method, Part 3, How to Attract Emotionally Available, High-Caliber Men Without Settling, Overgiving, or Wasting Time on the Apps. So let's dive right in. Recap of day 1, clarifying your love blueprint, understanding exactly where you are on your love journey. You identified current relationship patterns, uncovered the invisible blocks clouding your love compass, and began rewiring your dating frequency to attract emotionally available men who pursue you. And this clarity is your foundation because knowing where you stand empowers you to choose where you want to go. Day 2, then we dug into how do you release? How do you release what's blocking you from love? So, uncovering those repeating patterns, your attachment style was the big one we focused on, and the protective walls that keep love at bay. You also began to understand how overfunctioning, that masculine energy, the controlling energy, the unconscious beliefs can affect your relationships. And most importantly, you've taken a compassionate first step towards releasing these blocks. And so now, day 3, let's dig into activating high caliber connection. So, how do you put all of this to practice and actually attract the masculine, ready to commit men who adore you? How do you get those quality dates this weekend without chasing, hustling, settling, or swiping? So, let's dive in. Okay. So, the biggest question that I get all the time is where? Where do I go? Where are these high caliber men that I'm looking for? They're literally everywhere. Yoga, hiking, at weddings, retreats, conferences, work, grocery stores, airports, airlines, and even online. All of these pictures down below are all past clients that have met their person in a variety of places that I had listed above, online and in real life. And so the one thing that's really important to remember is it's actually not where you go. Again, one client met her partner at a yoga class. You wouldn't normally think that maybe you'd meet your guy there, but she showed up. She was confident, she was open, she was flirty, she was communicative. I've had a client meet her person at the gym. What did she do? She went up to him and asked him for help, for support. Like, hey, can you spot me? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Had a client meet her person in a grocery store. He actually came up and talked to her in the airport lounge, and even seated next to him in an airplane. And yeah, I would say half of my clients meet their person online. There's a lot of challenges and frustrations with online dating, don't get me wrong. I mean, the benefit of in person is you get to connect with someone's vibe and energy. Whereas online, you have to wait until you meet them in person. Although I would always suggest that you do some type of a video chat or a FaceTime before meeting them online, especially if you are incredibly busy. It can just help with the filtering process. And I've certainly had clients say, oh my God, I'm so glad I had a 10-minute phone call with him or a FaceTime because I realized no spark, not a fit, rather than you show up at the restaurant and then you have to commit to 2 hours in dinner with this person and you realize in the first 10 minutes it's not a fit. And so the first thing you have to know, abundant mentality, is there are great men everywhere. There truly are, in your town, in your city, in your country, around the corner. But you have to be open to seeing them. And this is why I've said before that a high caliber mindset for you is not the woman who's bashing men, is not the woman who's complaining that all the good ones are taken, but it's the woman who is open-minded, open-hearted, the woman who's going out into the world as her best, most magnetic self, and not with the intention to find a man, but to enjoy life fully. And that's what I see happen with a lot of my clients who meet their person in real life, is that they're just going out doing what they love. Whether they're going hiking, they're going to yoga, they're going to a retreat or a conference, and you combine that with they're open. So that's the difference. Some women are hyper independent. They go out into the world, but their hearts are closed off. So they're living a great life, but they're not actually open and available. They're still jaded. They still have their trust issues. And so it has to be the combination of the two. Like, yeah, you're going out into the world, you're enjoying your life, you're feeling confident, you're feeling magnetic, you're feeling turned on, and you are still open and receptive to meeting new people, meeting new men, And the intention isn't, well, I'm going to go to this event in order to meet the love of my life. It's, I'm going to go to this event because I want to go to this event. And I'm also open to meeting new connections. So trust me when I say, and if I think of all these pictures down here, the left side, they're all online. And then the right side and in the middle, Lacey and her husband, Brian, they're all in real life. So again, it's 50-50. It's just who it is that you are being, the mindset that you have, the energy that you have, and the belief systems that you have. This is where the real magic happens. It's not that you have to go to a secret special place to find all of the great men. Now, are some places better than others? Yeah. And what I would suggest is actually it's places you're already going to. Because if you have something in common with him, like let's say you're both into yoga or you're both into F1 racing or you're both into baseball, well, that's good because you want to have commonalities with your person. And so some of my clients have met their person at work, and then some of them have met them through a friend. I met my partner at a dinner party. Other people have met them through connections, friends of friends, you name it. Truly, anywhere and everywhere, if you have the right mindset, energy, and belief system. So let's take some time to create the high caliber hot list. And if you're watching the replay, this will be a good time to pause once we go through this slide. Or if you're here live, you can go back and watch the replay and pause it here. So one of the things I want you thinking about is, where do you currently go? Work, gym, social events, happy hour, whatever it is, write it all down. And so where could you intentionally go this month? So many women that I talk to, when I ask them what they're doing, where they're going, and they complain that they don't meet any men, well, they're not actually going out. They go to work, they go to the gym, and then they go home. And or they might have a ladies' night, but it's just with the ladies, and so they're not actually approachable or open, right? And so if I was sitting here across from you, which I guess technically I am, I would have you make the list. I'd have you tell me about your life. Where are you going? Okay, you're going to work. You're going to the gym, and then you come home and walk your dog. Interesting. You're not meeting anybody. Not surprised, right? And so how could you expand that? How could you intentionally go to maybe more classes, workshops, retreats, networking events, travel experiences? You can look on Meetup, you can look on Eventbrite, you can look on Facebook events. Like, there is so much going on. And I think online dating can be a crutch for many people because it's so easy to sit at home and just swipe. But you've got to put yourself out there into the world. Now, some people have the opposite problem. They're way too busy. And so they don't actually have time to meet new people. And so you're going to have to consider, how can I scale it down, or how can I be more intentional about the places that I'm going? Meaning, am I going there alone? Am I not on my phone and preoccupied? Do I not have a girlfriend with me? That, again, is kind of that crutch. So when you're solo, it does signal confidence. It does make you more approachable, provided you're not sitting at the bar reading a book or sitting at the bar on your phone, right? So sometimes it's just these tiny little behavioral shifts that can make a really big difference. Now, beyond where you're going, though, as I said before in the last slide, it's also, who are you being? Is your heart open? Do you feel good in your energy? Are you approachable? Are you friendly? Are you smiling? Do you feel confident? What are you wearing? Like, there's so many different aspects. And I'm not saying you need to completely change who you are or get a makeover. But again, so many women that I have worked with are not actually available energetically or physically, body language, when it is that they are going out. So believe me when I tell you, my clients have met people everywhere. But who are you being when you go out? And so what I want you to do is make the list. Where do I normally go? Where could I intentionally go to meet new people? And ideally, can I go there alone? And can I make sure that I'm approachable? Now, when it comes to that first meeting, when it comes to online dating, masculine and feminine energy don't necessarily apply. And what I mean by that, if we think about feminine energy as dropping the handkerchief, That's not to say that you can't smile at the guy or flirt with the guy or even go up and talk to the guy, ask for advice, ask for an opinion, ask for help. That's you dropping the handkerchief, like, hey, I am available. I actually just said something to you. So I'm obviously not going to reject you. I just asked your opinion on your favorite tea here. I just asked your opinion on how to do the deadlift. I just asked for directions to whatever it is. These are ways that my clients have actually met their person. And so, what I want you thinking about is how can I drop the handkerchief, so to speak? How can I drop the handkerchief? How can I be open? How can I be approachable? And from there, yes, does he take the ball and roll with it? And so, if we're talking masculine and feminine energy, the feminine energy is receptive. The feminine energy is trying to inspire the man to pursue. So you still have your role. It's not just showing up in these places, but it's the energy that you are showing up in. It's how it is that you're acting. And this is where the group coaching is really, really supportive because we're able to break down who it is that you are being and different ways that you could potentially work on attraction, on those first meetings, on those conversations. So that is your first bit of homework that I really want you reflecting upon. And so now the mindset piece, right? So again, it's not just where you are going, but who are you being when you go there? So there's high caliber, there's low caliber, there's abundant mindset, there's lack mindset. And you probably have a little bit of lack mindset going on. That's okay. We can change it. So I've had clients in the past where their lack mindset was you're either the one or no one. Meaning, if we meet, we have a conversation, I don't see it going anywhere, you're no one to me. But that's lack mindset. What if this person that you meet has a really great friend that could be your person to introduce you to? Or what if the woman next to you in the yoga class, her brother is single and amazing, that she could introduce you to? And so that's why when I talked about the where, like where are these men? Trust me, they're everywhere. Abundant mindset. It's the exact same thing. You have to be in that abundant mindset of like, I could meet my person here. They could be here right now. They could be a friend of this person. They could be in this social circle. I've given my clients homework before where I want you meeting one new person a week for a year. That's 52 new people. That's 52 new social circles. Most of my clients who've met their person in real life, it's through a connection. It's through someone that they already know. And so this first one, abundance is your friend. Don't be trying to cycle men out just because they're not a fit. I've stayed friends with really good exes or really good friends with exes. My partner I met through a friend. I met that friend living in Mexico through a friend. So it's just, you never know. Stay open. Let go of the mindset that he has to be the one or he's no one to me. Second thing that you could do is step into your dating alter ego. So I had a client once, her alter ego is Lucy Got Swag. And I gave her the homework. I was like, for 1 hour, I want you to go out to this fancy restaurant bar. You're going to dress up. You're going to feel confident, fun, magnetic. So whatever that means to you, that's different for every single woman. And she just put on the persona. She played pretend for an hour. She had so much fun. She got asked out and then bought her drinks, asked for her number. And she realized that so much of dating is confidence and that she could actually fake it till you make it. And so that can be something that you can do as well is, could I just adopt an alter ego? How would the version of me act that really believed in her worth, that really believed that there's great men out there, who wasn't jaded, who wasn't closed, who wasn't mistrusting? And so I really want you thinking about that. How would you show up? What would a high caliber mindset mean to you, where you're the woman who knows her worth and believes that what you want is out there. That's the high caliber mindset for you. And I would also say that that's the high caliber mindset for the guy, right? He's not saying, well, all women are bitches, all women are gold diggers, all women suck. He's showing up in that high caliber mindset, looking for his reciprocal high caliber mindset partner. 3, loosen your rigid criteria. Approach new people with curiosity rather than checklist. So many women get so uptight, and it's like before the first date, all they're doing is just trying to tick all the boxes. But the thing is, I'm going to argue that you don't actually know what it is that you want, that your type isn't necessarily working for you, or else you'd already be with your person. And so rather than being so strict and so rigid of like, he has to be this tall and make this amount of money and have this job and live in this part of town, it's, well, let me just be open. And I gave myself this exact same piece of homework when I moved back to the States and I was starting to date. I definitely cast the net far and wide. I was like, you know what? Let's just get to know a bunch of different types of men. Let's enjoy dating. Let's go explore different parts of town. Let's make sure that this is actually what I want and what's going to work for me. And that's why I always say, don't date to find your person, date to find yourself. And I know after a while, it can feel like you're burnt out by the apps and burnt out by the dates, in which case, then we definitely need to talk because I can help you with that. And it can be hard to be curious if that's the case. And that's usually when you need to take a break and cleanse your energy. And when I think about the women in Magnetize, some of them are ready to start dating day one, like Dina, who met her person the first week. And other women need a couple of months to clear the energy and recalibrate before they're ready to date. And so, depending where you're at, you might need to take a break from online dating, in which case, just focus on going out into the world and being your amazing magnetic self, going to new places by yourself, meeting new people, and having fun. Okay. And just being open. So, again, that's the abundant mindset. So, rather than someone fitting this strict checklist, be open to understanding and getting to know who they are. Now, what is it though that you need to be picky about? This is important. It is important to be picky about values. It's important to be picky about your life and relationship vision. It's definitely important to be picky how you feel about this person, how you feel when you're with them, how they treat you. That matters. But so many women, and I think about Patricia, actually, her husband, Bruce, that she manifested while we were working together, she's the perfect example of this because she had this big old checklist of what she thought she needed with a partner. Bruce didn't meet everything on her checklist, but thank God she gave him a chance because he is the most loving and dedicated partner she could ever ask for. He didn't have the job or like the super high paycheck, but he had a good career. He didn't have debt. Yes, he made money and he treats her like a queen. And he is the most loving partner, spouse ever. And she said that to me. And I always think about her. It's like if she would have just ruled him off because he didn't make X amount of dollars and have X job and live in a certain part of town, she wouldn't be oh so happy right now with the love of her life. Another mindset to adopt, I'm meeting someone new and I'm going to have a great time. And this is why I also suggest do a little 10-minute FaceTime before you go out on a date. Someone who really is serious about meeting their person is absolutely going to carve out 10 minutes to meet with you and vice versa. I mean, you hear horror stories, at least I hear from my guy friends who are doing online dating, that so many women are out there just for a free meal or a free drink. Well, guess what? You can avoid that by doing a little 10-minute FaceTime first. And if the woman's not willing to do that, she's probably not interested in something real. And we could say the same for men. If they're not interested in having a 10-minute FaceTime with you, they're probably not interested in something real. And so you have that little FaceTime first. And then the mindset is not, this has to be my person. You've already chatted with them. You've got good rapport. It's just, we're going to go out and have a great time. I'm going to get dressed up. I'm going to meet someone new. We're going to go to a restaurant that I know that I like to eat at. We're going to go for a walk. I'll get my steps in. Right. And so shifting the mindset around dating is really, really important. Shifting the expectations around dating is really important. Practice real-time self-awareness. So notice your anxiety or notice your avoidant triggers and apply your tools. So no one is perfect, right? You might feel a little bit anxious before a first date. So what are the tools that you can use? Or things might be really going well with someone and you've had a couple dates with them and your avoidant tendency wants to pull away. Use your tools, right? And so this is going to be really important in the dating process. You're not perfect, but you understand how to work with yourself when this stuff comes up. This one, these last three, the High-Caliber Date Accelerator process. Every single date, every single relationship. This is what I want you to focus on and write down. How is this person, this date, getting me closer to the relationship I want rather than farther away? So many women, after a date, or after a couple of dates, after it didn't work out, they go into lack. They create the story. See, told you so. This is why it's not going to work out. This is why men suck. This is why I'm going to be single forever. Men don't like women like me, whatever it is. That's the lack mentality. That is not a high caliber mindset. That will keep you stuck. And so it does take practice. Don't get me wrong. But you're looking for all of the ways that this is getting you closer. That is what keeps moving you forward. And then you go deeper. What can I learn about myself, about men, about dating, from this date, from this interaction, from this relationship? Again, this is high caliber. This is you coaching yourself. This is you moving you forward. Otherwise, you stay stuck in victim mentality. Otherwise, you stay stuck in that lack mentality. And then the third part of this, what are you focusing on moving forward? Am I focusing on another failed relationship or bad first date, which again is lack mentality, which just keeps you stuck in that cycle? Or are you focusing upon what you've learned, what you're grateful for, what you want moving forward, how this is getting you closer, how this is proof that there are great men in town, even though it wasn't a fit? I'm working with a client right now, and she's going through a series of first dates that aren't necessarily working out. However, the men are really great men. They're very communicative. They let her down honestly and say, hey, it was a great date, but I'm just not feeling the spark, or it's not the right time in my life right now, and I don't want to lead you on, et cetera, et cetera. And so she could focus on like, see another date that didn't work out, or she could focus on, wow, what a great guy. Thank you for letting me know. I really admire that. And one of my exes I'm still friends with today, because after it was like a second or third date, he's like, I'm just not really feeling it. I'm feeling more of a friend vibe, and I want to be honest with you. And I was like, well, I think you're really cool. And I really respect that you drove up here and told me in person and let me down to my face. Like, it's still pretty new, right? Like, there's not big, deep feelings. Like, I would still love to be your friend. And we're still friends to this day. And so cultivating your own high caliber mindset around dating and what you're thinking and how you're showing up is going to get you a high caliber partner. But you can't be sitting around poo-pooing the dating process and poo-pooing men and expect to get in a healthy, loving relationship. So the high caliber mindset is important. And then the high caliber date accelerator process, these last 3 bullet points, is what's going to move you closer and closer and closer to the relationship that you desire. Now, let's dig a little bit into the beliefs that block you. So the 2 big beliefs that I have seen in a certain way is either A, I'm not good enough for what I want. Nobody would want me. I'm not attractive enough. I'm too old. I'm a single mom, whatever it is, right? Like there's just something wrong with me. Or 2, it's more external. What I want doesn't exist. So there's no one at my level. All the good ones are taken. There's not someone out there who can meet me financially, spiritually, emotionally, whatever it is. So it's either A, internal. There is something wrong with me. I can't have what I want. I'm not good enough. I'm too good. I'm too young. I'm too old. Or B, he couldn't possibly exist. I'm a unicorn. What I want isn't out there. Both of these beliefs are lack energy, and they attract low caliber results. But when you shift your beliefs, you shift your reality. So here is one way you can shift your beliefs. And there's lots of different ways to do it. There's lots of different ways that we do this in Magnetize. We're able to go a lot deeper. But I wanted to at least give you a tool that you can use today moving forward. So here's the first step. You've got to identify the limiting belief you keep repeating to yourself. So your beliefs tend to be nothing more than repetitive thoughts. Your beliefs can also be what you experienced in childhood, which when we got into your attachment styles, you understand that. But for the most part, stuff you're thinking, right? Like after a date, like, see, just more proof I'm getting too old. Just more proof men want younger women. Just more proof there's no good men in my town. Just more proof men aren't trustworthy. Whatever it is, there's your belief. That's your limiting belief. It's the stuff you're thinking to yourself over and over again. So you've got to reframe it. What is the abundance, right? I'm worthy of love at my level and the right man is out there for me. Or I think about Malaysia, a past client in Magnetize. Her picture is probably in one of those. Maybe it was yesterday's. Oh, here she is right here. Her and Hobby, middle, second from the left. I can't see if I can annotate. Here we go. Here we go, right there. Yay. Okay. So that would be Malaysia. And her belief system was, if I'm manifesting him, he's manifesting me. So what can you think on that level? How can you reframe it? They're amazing. There's plenty of good men in my town, and I'm only looking for one. Right? And so how can I start telling myself a new story? How can I anchor in this new belief? Affirmations are good, journaling are good, visualizations are good, but also what are some small action steps I could take? What is proof of this new belief system? So if I really believed that if I'm manifesting him, he's manifesting me, what are the action steps I would take? If I really believed there were great men out there in my town, let me look for positive proof of that, right? Because there's a part of your brain, the reticular activating system, that's looking for what you believe. And so there could be a great man standing right there in front of you and you won't see him. It's like Lauren's story, her testimony. She's like, if you haven't done the work and you meet the guy, it will end up just like the rest. You have to believe you're worthy of the love. You have to believe that he's out there. And so you've got to look for proof of the new belief system. You've got to take action in little ways of the new belief system. It's not an easy process to shift your beliefs, but it happens all the time. It happens for all of the women that have gone through Magnetize, which is why they were able to shift from being stuck. Lacey was single for 7 years. In her testimony, she's like, I haven't had sex in 7 years. But she had to shift her beliefs about herself, about what was possible, what was out there. And the guy, her husband, Brian, they already worked together. He was already there. And what I love about her testimony is she talks about the fact that he was always there, he was always flirting, but she wasn't available. And then one day she shifted after going through Magnetize, and he felt that shift. She was more available. She was energetically available to him to be pursued, to receive his love. He was always there. She couldn't see him. She was blocking him. Tori, same thing. She met her person at work. He was always there, but she was wrapped up in someone else, wrapped up in the ex, trying to win him over, get him to propose. It wasn't until she let him go, did the work, opened up. Now, all of a sudden, she was available to receive this man's love who was already there the whole time. And I have a lot more stories like this, but I'll just leave you with those two. And so daily practices to anchor in the new belief, both internally with your thoughts, your emotions, but externally, the action steps that you're going to take. And then 4, structures and tools to continuously reinforce it. Have the support, have the accountability, have the coaching, have even more practices and tools to support you. And this is where Magnetize comes in. And this is why it's a 4-month process. Because it's just not as simple as I'm going to change my mind right now. You've been thinking the way you've been thinking for, let's say, 40 years, 50 years, 30 years. That's a very long time. And as Joe Dispenza says, you've got to break the habit of being yourself. That's all it is. It's a habitual way of thinking and being and acting and believing. When we shift that, we shift your love life. And this is the work we do in Magnetize. So let's recap, and I'm going to share a little bit more about Magnetize, more so than I shared yesterday. So 1, clarifying, understanding where you are in the path to love. 2, attachment styles, releasing what's blocking you. What are different ways you can shift to a secure attachment style? And then 3, the high caliber connection, the High-Caliber Date Accelerator process. How can you adopt that high caliber mindset? Because the dating starts with you. Who you're being when you go out into the world is going to affect who you are meeting. Now, we have our live Q&A and coaching session next Tuesday. Same Zoom link, 5:30 p.m. Mountain, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So when you show up live, this is our personal coaching. So get your questions answered. Plus, I want to share with you a little bit the foundations for lifelong partnership, because it's not enough to just get the guy. How do you keep the guy? How do you two stay happy, committed, devoted to each other? And how do you have your pick of the top 1% of the men? How do you raise your standards, keep them there? So we're going into that deeper in the live Q&A session. So there won't be any slides. It'll just be you and me and the group of ladies to get all of your questions answered. Once you've had time to watch the replays, to process, to do your journaling, then come to that session with your questions. All right, now Magnetize. I want to share with you a little bit more than I shared yesterday. So here's what's going to happen. This is what happens for the women. So you elevate into that high caliber woman that the men are naturally drawn to. And you might think you already are, but most likely you've got some low caliber thoughts, some low caliber beliefs, and some low caliber ways of being. This is what we get to shift. You get to raise your standards and meet men at that level. I think about Cassie when she entered Magnetize, she hated dating, and she hated it because of the men that she was meeting. But once she learned how to raise her standards and set boundaries and communicate within the first couple of weeks, boom, she was loving dating because of how the men were showing up. She changed. She didn't move towns. She didn't change dating apps. She changed. She raised her standards. She worked on her boundaries and communication. Is what we worked on with her for the first couple of weeks. And then boom, everything shifted, which led to increasing of the number of exceptional dates. She was having a lot of fun dating. I think about Patricia, a Magnetized client. She was in one of those wedding pictures before, where she was in a situationship, not enjoying dating, trying to figure it out with this guy. She had the courage with our support and Magnetize to let him go, to speak her truth, to let him go. I already said that. And then by the end of the program, Magnetize is 4 months long. She had so many dates with really great men that were meeting her list that she had to turn off the apps. She's like, I have time, but not before she met her husband that she's now married to, has a baby with, super duper happy, building a life together. This happens for a lot of my clients. The floodgates open. You're like, oh my God, too much. Imagine having that problem. And then embodying the irresistible feminine energy, right? Letting go of the need to control and do it all on your own. You've already done that, but instead relaxing into your feminine energy and letting the men step up, pursue, and adore you. This happens for every single one of my women in Magnetize, and there's not a doubt in my mind it will happen for you as well. And then step 5 is you magnetize, lasting love into your life. Here's some more clients. Jennifer, I was dating men that were well beneath me. Why? Because she didn't believe that they existed. Within 2 months of working with Emerald, I met the man of my dreams. He meets her at every single level. Sarah, I'm engaged to the most incredible man. We're having our dream wedding in Portugal next summer. Thank you, Emerald, for making my dreams come true. She also didn't believe that a man existed that would want to marry her and take care of her kids, because she's a single mom with 3 kids, right? But she busted that belief through the work that we do in Magnetize. And the first 3 women who sign up get 3 private coaching sessions with me. Lauren, after working with me privately and in Magnetize, she said, I had the courage to leave the relationship that wasn't right for me, and 6 weeks later met my guy. And so it's really powerful to have the private support in addition to the group support. And since we start Magnetize in 3 weeks, you actually have the ability to have 3 private coaching sessions, dig into the bonus content before we even begin. And so the 3 bonus courses that you get, you've got the breakups. You need to release the emotional baggage, clear the past, which was important for all of these women. The online dating mastery, so how to master online and offline dating. I want you to have that tool in your toolkit that you can go back to over and over again. And then get and keep the man of your dreams, which goes deeper into the high-caliber date accelerator process that I would want you to go into. And then we've got the meditation hypnosis library, the daily love intention setting, and access to all past coaching calls. All of these bonuses is what have helped my clients accelerate the process of meeting their person. And when you join now, you've got 3 extra weeks to dig into this content before we even begin. So you could be like Dina, for example, who joined early and met her person in the first week of Magnetize. Lauren, that I just showed you on the last slide, because we worked together and then she joined Magnetize, she met her person also in those first couple of weeks of Magnetize. So there is a lot of benefit and power to getting started immediately and not waiting for 3 weeks. And this also might be the very last round of Magnetize that I do. So if you've been sitting on the fence, the time is now, because I actually cannot promise you that there will be another round. So that right there is the link, emeraldsinclair.com/magnetize. There we go. And you've got your homework. You have the ability to join Magnetize today. We have our live coaching session next Tuesday, but I want you to go out there this weekend and really think about, who am I being when I go out? Am I acting with intention? Because sure, you could say it'll happen when I least expect it, but it happens when you prepare for it. I didn't expect to meet Mark at the dinner party that night. I wasn't going to the party to meet a guy. But I was absolutely going to the party as my most magnetic self. I was absolutely going to the party open, receptive, available. So it was who I was being in that situation. And this is what I would challenge you to do this weekend. Go out there intentionally, paying attention to who it is that you are being open, receptive, and available for love. And if you want to fast track the process, if you would like coaching and support and an amazing community and the proven process that I've used for the last 8 years, that's worked for hundreds of women personally and tens of thousands more that just go through the courses, Magnetize is for you. Get your beautiful butt enrolled, and I will see you there.